Okay, so in this lesson, I'm going to talk to you about observational drawing. Okay, this is the first section you need to do. It's either called observational drawing or it's called recording, but the idea is exactly the same. This is the part of the project where you are assessed on your skills of kind of communicating what you see and putting it onto paper. So you need to show a range of drawing from original drawings and drawing from photographs. So a range of different things. You will also need to show a range of skills using different medias. So we could paint something, watercolor, pen, pencil, biro, whole range. And that's what they want to see. This section is worth 24 marks. So in order for us to get as high as possible, we need to show a range of skills. They not only want to see a range of media, but they want to see high level drawing skills, okay? So you've got to show them pristine, finished, well-drawn images with a range of tone. That's really important. The tone will be the biggest thing here. Have we got depth versus light, okay? So at the moment, obviously, you might be struggling for media, which is fine. So we're just going to keep it quite simple. We're going to use a lot of pencil drawing that, again, when we get back to school, we can then add medias on top of. So this will give us a good starting point. Now, if you have different medias, you may use them, but generally you haven't had as much practice with other medias, so you might need my help more. So this might be a good idea while we're working like this to focus on pen or pencil, as it's your most practiced media. Right, so I'm just going to show you a little example. So say I'm going to draw this fish. Okay, now I might struggle to get the outline and it might take me a long time. So we might just need a little help getting that sorted. So I'm just going to show you a few ways in which you can do that. Obviously at school we would use a light box, but here we haven't got that. So we need to think of other ways. There are several things you can do. First of all, you could use tracing paper. Okay, so that is normal. You can buy this from the shop for baking. It's just greaseproof paper. Okay, that works exactly the same way as tracing paper does at school. And so all you would need to do is just then obviously trace around your outline. And then you can add your details in afterwards. Now, as you can see, it's actually quite hard to see some of the details. I can have a pretty good guess, but not all of it is easy to see. So you'd lose some of your detail. And remember, we're looking for perfect drawings here, so we would need a good outline. So not too bad, but maybe not as good as I would like. So this will be okay if this is all you've got ready, but I find this one not as easy to use as some of the others. Once you've got this outline, you can either do the classic where you turn it over and trace it again and it will imprint onto your paper, or if you've got a printer copier printer, you can photocopy this and put it straight onto normal paper. Yeah, so that might be it. That's all, like another option, but obviously then you can't rub out anything that you've drawn. So if you're not quite sure if your outline has worked quite well, that might not be the best option because you can't obviously then rub out your outline. It's staying there. So up to you. Another way of doing it is very simple, really. This just depends if you've got an old eyeshadow. Okay, so what you're going to do, turn your paper over, get your old eyeshadow palette. It works with any colour. I happen to have a black one here, but if you haven't got black eyeshadow, any eyeshadow will do. And all you do is paint over the back of your drawing. You would normally use chalk for this in school, but obviously we haven't got any at home. If you have, that's great, but I find it quite quick with eyeshadow. So there we go, done that. Just going to get rid of the excess. Okay, and then I'm going to just flip it over like so. Okay, now all I'm going to do is draw around it. I have to draw quite hard, and I've got a bit of a blunt pencil here, but you should have a really sharp pencil. Now this picture's a terrible picture to use. It's really pixelated, so I wouldn't actually choose this picture to draw normally. It's not good enough. but we're going to get the idea. So we're making sure our outline is as good as possible. So that means when we add that tone on, it's going to be easier for us and it's going to look more realistic. So I'm going to just finish off quickly. It's really important to get the outline right. If that's wrong, no matter how good your shading is afterwards, it won't work. Okay, so that's my outline. Let me see how that's worked. So we just lift that up. That should leave. There we go, an outline for me to follow. Now I will need to obviously draw that now because it won't actually last, because eventually it'll rub off using the eyeshadow. But that gives you a starting point that you can then work into. Okay, so that is 2 ideas of how you can do it. You can also, if you haven't got a printer so you can't get your work off, if you put it onto your laptop, you can obviously hold your piece of paper up to your laptop and very lightly trace around it off your laptop as well. That works. The other option is a grid method, okay, and that is where you would draw a grid on both your picture and your work. So this is good for getting the drawing. However, you've got the problem of getting rid of your grid, so you have to draw your grid really light. And the way you do it, the easiest way, you can do it in squares, but sometimes the easiest way to do it is in triangles. So you can just divide it up to a triangle. So you draw a box around it, then draw kind of across through it. Just line this up. Like so. And then you divide that again, across. And then you can divide each one of those up. So we need to do that bit here, but I'll just show you anyway. And then all you would do is draw the same grid onto your paper. So you can see then each bit you would draw out of each section. Now, the only thing is, you can just keep going smaller and smaller and smaller if you want it to be more detailed. So, because that's quite a big chunk to be in there. And then you would just divide that up again, like that. And then you can divide it up like that. You can go as small as you want to. So then you just kind of repeat the way of doing it. So now I've got really small triangles to follow. Yeah, so that's how you do that. But then we're going to have to draw the same grid onto our plain piece of paper and transfer it over. So we would draw, again, I'm just going to do this nice and quick, this kind of shape. Connect it together. And then draw those like so. Yeah, and as I said, if you want to make it smaller again, you just would then draw the same thing again. So in there, and then you kind of cross those over. It creates a mini grid within a grid, and you can just keep going smaller and smaller. Yeah, so now in theory, what I would do is look at my grid. So this bit here goes round like so, goes down there. That goes out like this. The next one goes out. I think I'll draw that like that. Through that bit, round and down. So you can start to see and build up, right? Yeah, and follow it on. So that's how you would do it. That's how you draw using a grid. So that's another option. So you've got grid option, paper, or eyeshadows. Okay, the aim is to create me an almost identical picture to the one you're copying. The person that gets the closest is able to show the best observational drawing skills and make kind of you're able to repeat what you see, which is what they're assessing. Okay, so your aim today is to do an observational drawing, start off one of those techniques, and then send it to me.